You are watching Insight with Praveen Puram live from Atlanta. Thank you all. Good evening and good morning. First of all, I would like to congratulate everyone for all my US friends. Happy Independence Day today. And today our special guest, Mr. Anjaiah Chowdary Garu, and everyone know him. He is from Tana and he is the executive vice president, and we'll ask more about Tana. So the topic about Tana, we wanted to know more about Tana. So most of the time people ask me question, what Tana does. Is it only cultural? There is more than cultural what Tana does. This is a small effort to bring Tana's effort to all the NRIs and how Tana can be helpful to you all. Anjaiah Chowdary Garu, welcome to the show, Andy. Thank you so much for your time today. Happy Independence Day to you.
Thank you, Praveen, and same to you. And of course, my humble regards to all the viewers of Mana TV and TV5. Thank you, Praveen.
Thank you. So, Anjaiah Chowdary Garu, I would like to definitely introduce yourself. We all know, but again, we wanted to hear from you more about. I know you are from IT background and you have been in Tana since long time. I have personally known you since long years in Atlanta, being associated, and we are very, very excited for you to see the president in Tana. Tana is a very oldest organization, and we wanted to hear more about Tana from you, and what is your role and how you are going to present in future for Tana as a president.
Yeah, thank you, Praveen. Once again, to reiterate, Tana is not only the oldest, the biggest, and so far probably the biggest in not just of the Telugu diaspora, but overall any Indian ethnic organization outside India. If you count the membership, probably we have around 40,000 members, I think registered members, lifetime members. So having said that, the inception was in 1977. And they're stalwarts who built this organization from foundation, have done great deeds, and very, very fortunate to right now I'm the president-elect. And I definitely have the plans to continue the past glory legacy of this organization, and I'll try my best to take these organizations to next higher heights. And then there are multiple programs that won the hearts of Telugu people in general, especially in North America and 2 Telugu states. So looking forward to continue all that great activities, whether it's charitable or helping the people, especially Telugu people, and of course continuing the mission statement, looking after the mission statement and continuing the programs which are in alignment with the mission statement, and to see how I can get it to the next level. And as well as, you touch the culture, definitely we are a cultural organization as well. So, continuing those programs and see how we can add more feathers in the cap for Tana. And of course, I want to stamp my mark in the coming couple of years, uniting everybody and making sure we have only one agenda, that is Tana and its mission statement. That's, overall. So I'll wait for you to go in detail wherever you want me to touch.
Thank you. Thank you for the brief introduction, Anjay. So Tana, if you talk about Telugu Association of North America, right? It's the biggest organization and it has 40,000 people. So currently I know that the elections have been recently finished. So before we go into the subject, the audience will be very curious about Tana's election. If you see Tana election, it is like it is not different from any other elections in US. So can you please brief out about how these campaigns go and what is the agenda? Do you have an agenda like the political system, or how do you go into the with the people?
Yeah. First of all, let me reiterate that Tana is a 501(c) non-profit organization to serve Telugus in general. Of course, we do more than that. But at the same time, in a democratic process, elections are, there is a facility of, announcing the dais and then contesting in the elections. The bylaws of Tana permits that, first of all. So yes, recently concluded elections, you might have seen the buzz, and of course, a lot of halchal that you have seen in the media. And it's no less than any elections could be in India or here. I agree on that part, but I see that as a positive side. The reason for that being, when you have competition for overall for all the positions starting from A to Z, the positive thing is that there are more than more people who are really interested and excited to serve the organization. That's a positive thing that I see. And second thing, yes, because of the the glory or legacy that Tana has, you get that attention, and that shows the depth of how much they want to come and serve. So yes, in a democratic way, in a democratic process, elections are over. But at this point, what I would like to make sure and on record say that we will try, and I will try to make sure people are united, and only one goal is Tana. So moving forward, we are all like once again reiterating that every person who contested in the elections, they love Tana. That is the bottom line. That is the whole reason why we have that buzz. So looking forward to take this train forward and do my duty, and with the due diligence and utmost sincerity. Thank you.
Sure, Anjaiah Garu. So before I go into depth of there are other national organizations as well. Before we go into that, we will deep dive into Tana, especially the NRIs, right? They believe in the oldest organization being Tana. So most of the questions to be answered on behalf of this particular show, I wanted to tell them what Tana does. It's not only the heritage of Telugu or so, but I wanted to, if I see the vision or mission, there are three areas which we can talk about. One is cultural, one is mission, and the charity and help. So let's focus first on charity and help. So what are the activities Tana does under the umbrella of charity and help? If you can throw some light, Anjaiah Garu, every Telugu individuals in US will understand, and they will be part of the organization.
Thank you, and it's definitely an opportunity to even for us to let people know what we are doing on a day-to-day basis. We do a lot. People can't even imagine what we are doing, because we may not be doing that great justice on publicizing what we do. We do and move on. So there are in the charitable front and helping people, there are three main arms. One is the Tana Foundation. Second one is the Tana Team Square, which everybody I think gets connected well, and third one is the Tana Cares. These three are fundamental, charitable arms of Tana. And let me go through Tana Foundation. Since inception, we have spent around more than $200 million up to date in both the Telugu states. This is particularly for Telugu people way back, back home, basically Tana Foundation, especially. So there are multiple signature programs of Tana, on the executed on the base of Tana Foundation. For example, we have Operation Envision, where we have almost conducted 1,000 camps, over the period, and then around 40 to 50,000 approximately people screened, and surgeries have done on the cataract side, and a lot of the equipment that they need has been provided. And also multiple programs like cancer awareness camps. We have built many mineral water. We have built mineral water plants in the rural areas. So we have scholarships both in US and India for to educate, not only for the education, to encourage youth basically for the needy people. And we also have a project called Varadi. We also have orphanages which we support on a daily basis. We also have built multiple digital libraries and digital classrooms and physical libraries also in many of the schools way back home. So if I have, and we also, the main couple of other programs, and then probably I'll conclude Tana Foundation. We have cleft lip surgeries that we have done in the rural areas. So we have done a lot actually, okay, on Tana Foundation. I did mention just a few of them, just based on the time limit. So we normally spend around $2 million a year, okay, especially for Tana Foundation, for Telugu states back home. And also we conduct 5K walks around US for Tana Foundation, just to spread the awareness of what are all the opportunities for the fellow NRIs to serve their motherland. For example, they have that mindset, I should do something to my place, my school, my city. So what are my options? So that 5K walks would facilitate the opportunities, how we can build a bridge with the fellow NRIs to execute the projects at home. We also offer flexibility of customizing the programs for Tana Foundation, not only the the projects that are approved, but even you can, or anybody can bring a project and then get the approval, and you can still, for example, if you want to do something to your, and those particular projects are not part of Tana Foundation, let us say. So that facility is also there. In other words, if you have a thought in your mind to help the needy in your rural area or city or whatever, we come up with the plan. We offer the platform. So that is in a nutshell about Tana Foundation. So coming to the Tana Team Square, Tana Team Square, Tana Emergency Assistance Management Team. So that is why it's called Team. So inception is 2008, October 26th, and till date, that 24/7 Tana Team Square is available for every Telugu person. That is the initial goal, to help in any catastrophic incident. But of course, day to day, we don't even, we get calls from all our communities, not just Telugu people. As of today, we have grown leaps and bounds. And, the initial inception was to serve the catastrophic whenever it happens, to help the people needy. And you can't believe we have around 600 volunteers throughout North America. We have around $1 million corpus fund. We already spent around 900,000 to help. I'm not talking about, that we raised on each incident. For instance, I'm talking about the corpus fund itself. Okay. And every week we get 3 to 5 calls, catastrophic calls. Unfortunately, people in accidents, could be, or water accidents, or health issues, or even shootouts. There are multiple, scenarios where Telugu people unfortunately pass away on a daily basis, unfortunately, because our community grew. And the first, after 911, next call comes to Tana, and we are available 24/7. So in that grievance period, what we do to the family is to make sure they take care of the family first, and we are there from A to Z until the human remains are repatriated. So that is one part what we do in Tana Team Square. And also coming to the MS students, where there are rackets for fake universities and all, we help them a lot on day-to-day basis. Also, we do a lot of help for the MS students who came for studies here. And also, there are many calls that we get on day-to-day basis. For example, their visa expired, the passport expired, and they have to have an emergency travel. So we coordinate with all the consulates, okay, to help the people in needy at that particular point of time, how to expedite the process. And also, especially, I should talk about the service that Tana Team Square does or did in the COVID time. As if you see, for the past, I think, 1.5 year. So we have done a lot. Let me start with the parents, especially. They came here last, I'm talking about 1.5 year back, for visiting, and they're stuck here. So initially, if you remember, to get back to India was a big deal. There are no flights available. I think there was a mission where government of India had some flights, Vande Bharat mission, and then there's very limited flights. At one point of time, there is a lottery process for them to go back also. There are thousands of people. There are categories. So we work with the parents to make sure to prioritize them based on the needs, and working with the consulate, getting them space in the flights. That was a big deal, even though I'm just mentioning in a sentence. So we have to work round the clock to make that happen, to help the parents to go to India. And also, once they are here, the medications are complete. They don't have anything left. So we work with, especially Atlanta, we work with Telugu Association Metro Atlanta. They have a free Tama clinic. So Tana worked hand in hand with them to provide the prescriptions for all whoever approached us. So at that particular, because medicines are very important. So, and also we have done a lot in India as well during the COVID time. I'm talking about 1 year back when we started. There are many workers who are stuck in different parts of the Telugu states, especially where they can't go back to their places due to the lockdown. So we have served food, needy things for them. And also for the MS students right here in US. So they're also stuck at that point of time. We offered financial assistance. We offered food, groceries to them. We offered shelters to them. So that is before, I'm talking about a year back. And even recently, we have secured approximately around 700 oxygen concentrators. And we did send to Telugu states. We are in forefront of arranging the hospitals when there is a shortage of hospitals for the people, beds. So we did our best to, help the people in India during the COVID time. And the COVID help is not done yet. We are in touch with all the authorities and the people that is being done as of date. So that's about the team square. And then coming to the Tana, I'm just trying to, cut short. So coming to the Tana Cares, there was a thought when I was a community service coordinator, Chowdary Garu was the president at that time, and Tana Cares, that's when the inception happened actually. So what can we do, more to the people in US? Yes, Team Square we are doing. So that was a thought process that went by. And then that's when the Tana Cares was formed, the inception. And then we have around 11 important projects that are tied up to the umbrella of Tana Cares. For example, we have CPR workshops, we have, bone marrow drives, blood drives, toy drives, college orientation seminars, SAT and ACT coaching for kids over here, and there are multiple programs, service programs for the people of, living here in North America. And those all, even our, immigration, many workshops and seminars, webinars we did, autism awareness workshops we did. All these programs comes under the umbrella of Tana Cares on day-to-day here. Okay, so definitely we have done a lot, and probably every week we have a lot of activities under Tana Cares umbrella as well. So on a day-to-day basis, we have something or the other going on, helping never rest for Tana. It's always on the mission. Okay, so those are the three I could summarize on behalf of charity and helping the fellow Telugus intact.
Excellent. I think it's a phenomenal job from Tana, Anjaiah Garu, and I see you relentlessly working for the community as well. And personally, I have called you a couple of times when unfortunate accidents happen or some deaths happen. And, I diverted the calls being into the media, and I see how your team helps. And, definitely from the immigration in the COVID times, and especially on the parents, for parents coming from India, and with association of Tama, you have been done a phenomenal job. And it is very important to bring all this call out to the NRI population in India, in US, to know about Tana, what they do. And I think you have briefly elaborated on all the activities, I believe. And more than all, there are certain cultural activities. And I know that Tana has a signature event, right? So why don't you brief about what is this signature event and how the culture is brought among the Telugu people in United States?
Sure, Praveen. See, it's interrelated, our cultural overall focus and Tana mission. If you see, they both are, even though they look as two different topics, but they're interrelated. Our Tana mission says that, the primary focus, I'm just, rephrasing it. The primary focus is to make sure that we take care of social, cultural, and charitable needs of Telugu people in general, and then especially focus in North America, and then to Telugu states. So to protect, propagate our Telugu language, our heritage, to and then preserve for the next generations. So we have lined up a lot of activities actually, and then if you see, every couple of years we have a biennial convention that we do in a big scale. And then for that, we invite many achievers, okay, in that particular Telugu, especially language, literature field, who are stalwarts. We invite them, we felicitate them. We also make sure they're acknowledged and they're recognized, basically. The basic idea being to get to the world, say that, we do value, their achievements, basically, to encourage them. Okay, that's one thing. And also there are, staged plays that are outdated these days. If you see, in recent COVID times, we did support the Surabhi. If you see their organization, when they're really in, dire state regarding the COVID, where they couldn't get their livelihood going, right? So we did help them, conducted many shows. So the ancient, whatever you call the Telugu heritage, has been Tana tried their best to restore that, to once again bring all the artists to light. Actually, that's one thing which we do continuously, and recognize them not only in the biennial convention, but also in the Chaitanya Sravanti events that we do every 2 years in India before the convention. Okay, that's having said that, but there are many items. We also have Telugu Without Boundaries. That is another spectacular, event, or what do you say, that Tana does. So where we take care and promote the Telugu speaking, especially other than Andhra Pradesh. Also, there are people, schools in Tamil Nadu and all. So we help them. That was a continuous process. We also have Telugu dictionary that we installed, and we just brought it to light. And also we have patent rights for that as well. And also there are multiple programs that has been initiated for the past couple of years. Every month we now have a program called Tana Sahitya Vedika, that's conducted in last Sunday of every month. And Prasad Thotukura Garu, oversees that. He chairs that, of course, with the encouragement of our President Jayita Alluri and entire leadership. Okay, that is being run every month. It's ongoing. So Prasad Garu brings all the Telugu stalwarts, who are really achievers in all diversities of that particular language and heritage, and that received enormous attention and recognition. And also, in addition, I can't leave without mentioning, we conducted Telugu Prapancha Samskritika Mahotsav. That's what you call the title. And over 40 countries and 100 organizations, we could connect them across the globe. And we have used the COVID crisis as an opportunity. And there are multiple programs, and that particular program was phenomenal success, where we had thousands of Telugu people across the globe participating in all the competitions. And also, once again, enlightening and then recognizing our Telugu culture and heritage. So that being said, there are many programs that are in line with Tana mission that we are doing, and then I would like to carry them forward. So I think I covered in brief cultural as well as mission.
I know that this session won't be sufficient to call out all the programs, and especially during this COVID time, I think it's a great effort from you all. Keep some live concerts and keep the artists alive. I hear most of the cine industry is really struggling, especially from the lower cadre. And I think these kind of help from the organization definitely helps. And especially like painting and all those kinds of stuff. I do get some of the calls, and you guys are doing a wonderful job in that. And I think from all of us, again, congratulations and thanks for all the relentless efforts from you. And Anjaiah Garu, I wanted to ask you one question, and especially on the culture, right? So doing all the festivals, doing all these cultural activities, do you see some progress in the young generation who are raised and born and brought up in US? Do they grasp those, or what is your observation?
No, definitely I see a progress. To answer your question, the short answer is yes. And let me tell you a couple of scenarios where I could, justify my yes. Okay, they justify my answer. See, we have Sankranti, Ugadi, and Deepavali, those festivals. So Tana itself conducts individual events across the US to promote those events in different cities. So if you see, we strictly concentrate on the younger generation here, actually, rather than, yes, we might get some celebrities from India, but that's on the minor side. But the program consists of all those next generation kids. And you see all that Telugu, whether it be dramas or songs or folklore, for example. So all these, the children are the main, participants for that. Definitely, without their knowledge, this thing has been induced to them, basically, the Telugu culture and next generation. That's one thing I could, proudly say. And also, we did conduct another major event called Balotsav. I forgot to mention the, previous answer. So there are around thousands of, kids that participated in Balotsav, especially the topics have been mostly based on carrying our heritage to next generation. So those kids, whether it be, as I said, regular singing or classical singing, so it has multiple categories where it touches everything, whether it's painting, art, poems, rhymes, songs, dance. So it's like encouraging each and every, form of art, I would say. And that Balotsav has been a tremendous success for Tana. And also, I cannot, conclude my answer without mentioning summer camps that we did for kids. So that has been one more feather in Tana's cap, I would say. And even this summer, we plan to start. You can't believe, probably in a matter of a day, around 4,000 to 5,000 kids registered in that summer camps, especially in the last summer. we have around, I think, 8 to 10 categories, whether it's painting, whether it's be cooking, or whether it's robotics or singing. So I would say the leading people, the very recognized people, very renowned people are the guests or hosting those individual events. Actually, those are already popular people. So that way we made sure that gets attention, and kids really loved it. And we get a lot of calls, even now actually, a lot of calls from all over, especially the globe, and especially the US actually, to participate in those activities. So having said that, with the combination of these, we have a lot of other programs, but definitely I see the progress. And as I said, our emphasis will be more, okay, in going forward. And also SAT and ACT. Another mission, probably the statement which covers is to include and encourage the next generation youth. That's in the Tana mission statement as well. So for that, we did develop a curriculum where, for example, I think medical students from Gainesville, I think Philadelphia region has done that, teaching of SAT and ACT courses for the upcoming kids actually. So if you see the teaching, whoever is teaching is next generation kid, who are getting or who are being taught are next generation kids. So it's like we are trying to include them as much as possible. Recently, we also have a position called Tana Sports Chair was there exclusively to encourage and include next generation kid. And even for youth activities, we plan to have a youth cultural fest. So there are many multiple activities that we have planned there down the lane to encourage next generation.
Awesome, Anjaiah Garu. Really, it's not a small program what you did. I heard that you said 5,000 kids registered. That's not a small number, and I think it's a great achievement to bring the culture in the younger generation. And I would also request you. Recently, the schools in India, one of the school in India requested me, hey, can you get a chief guest for mine to encourage people? For example, let's say traffic police, right? What did they do in the COVID time? So they wanted to bring that notice to the children. So I said that I will bring one of them from the US so that, the kids will feel very proud that we are speaking to the US. So in these similar synergies, if the younger generation can also spend 1 hour with the kids in India, at least 1 hour in 1 month, can you believe in the government organizations or the private schools, if they are talking with the US kids, their motivation will increase, their observation will increase, and we can do wonders. I think this is a thought and request from me. If that is possible, if we can include, that will be an awesome. And again, great job for all the things what you do. And we can also discuss more about that request to Anjaiah Garu. And coming to the Pathashala, that is one of the activity I've been seeing in Tana. So can you please throw more, because most of the parents might send to this Pathashala and they might be benefited.
Sure. As I mentioned, so probably Pathashala would be on top of the line, which is in line with our mission statement to promote Telugu language and culture. So let me put forward a straight and easy essence of Pathashala, probably the selling of Pathashala, why we want Pathashala, how we would like to see Pathashala, right? There are many other programs as well. They're doing great, but here is the main purpose. So we strongly believe that next generation kids, they should be able to communicate with their parents, their grandparents freely in Telugu. The vocabulary is main. So we don't want to make them a Telugu pundits, honestly, being practical as well as, what do we want to achieve. We combine these and customize the curriculum. It's a very simple curriculum. It has 4 years. It is named after each year and working with the governments of both Telugu states that is officially recognized. So Pathashala, initially, it was owned by another corporation, even though Tana promoted previously. But this year, during Anjaiah Chowdary Garu time, what we have done is, we have done to get that complete exclusively, Tana owned that Pathashala right now. So that legal process also have been completed. So Pathashala is 100% under Tana right now. And you can't believe, previously the count of Pathashala would be probably 400-500, I guess, for 4 years. But we have around 1,500 students first year for Pathashala. Okay, and COVID also we are running, web-based and Zoom link, but we have tremendous response. And the goal in the next couple of years, is to increase to 5,000 in next 2 years. So that is the goal. And so far, we almost have completed the first year. So September, I think the current enrollment have already started for September recruitment. And we see the tremendous response. So first year, obviously, we have to motivate people and tell them why Pathasala is important, what Tana is trying to do. So request them to be part of this curriculum and encourage their kids. But now it's the other way, where they're asking when are the next registrations are starting. So we see that tremendous response. So definitely we see Pathasala would be another feather in the cap, absolutely like our Tana Team Square, maybe foundation. So that I could foresee it already. Pathasala is going to be next feather in the cap for Tana.
Definitely, I think you will definitely reach 5,000, Anjaiah Garu. The way you are totally involved in the community activities, the way you are elaborating, I could understand that how involved in Thana you are. And I'm sure that you will take from Jay Taluri and the next step in your tenure, and you will do this. Definitely, we all will be in support to you. And two things I wanted to ask you, Anjaiah Garu. One is on the Telugu, right? I definitely heard from the Atlanta governor to Telugu is recognized, Ugadi festival is recognized. So hats off to you all for, people like you involved and with the other leaders in the community. What are the few more government involvements in this Telugu, bringing Telugu as a language, recognizing Telugu as a language, and any of the festivals? Throw some light, because the governors also participate in Diwali, Ugadi. So please let us know more about how did this happen?
To answer upfront, that was a collective effort. In other words, Atlanta governor, not going into politics, but Brian Kemp, we know him, and we took active part while he was, we know him before he was a governor at a personal level. One of my friend, knows him for a long time, so that's how we got associated. And we did our part. At the same time, we share a very, very good relations with all the associations across US, especially in Atlanta. You know that we have good relations. So the rest of the associations and leaders, everybody gets credit in this. Let me put it that way. That's number one. Number two, yes, the leaders, especially governors of all states, or even if you see senators or congressmen, they realize the importance of Indian population, especially Telugu population, how we can make a difference in the mainstream politics. And if you see for the past 5 years, there are a lot of Indians, especially Telugus, that they're participating in, and they made a mark in the mainstream politics. So having said that, so they want to make sure they get closer to our diaspora, whether it's Indian diaspora and Telugu diaspora. So I think step by step. So their efforts, it's not only our efforts, there is an eagerness from the other side as well to make sure we are recognized. So obviously they have their shares, thinking that we would help them in their elections, or our participation would definitely increase their overall uplift of US economy, probably down the lane at the end of the day. Okay. So what we have done from Tana front, different cities, different states, we have our presence almost each and every nook and corner of US. Let me put it that way. We have 18 regions where we cover, we say 18 regions across US. Actually, we have regional vice presidents who represent that particular region. So almost whenever there was an opportunity prior, and whenever there will be an opportunity going forward, we would like to make a mark and represent our Telugu community, and of course Indian in general, and Telugu focusedly representing what our culture is, heritage is, how important our festivals are for us, and what do it mean for them to recognize our presence. It gives a lot of confidence and encouragement actually for the next generation kids. And if you see academics, all the toppers, if you see, are especially Asians, Indians, and then Telugus. So that's all about it. So bottom line, making sure our presence is felt in a multiple directions, covering. And once they realize the importance of our ethnicity, I think they'll be eager than us to recognize us. So let's see how it goes, but we'll strive and thrive to bring Telugu diaspora in the front line in all the ethnicities in India.
Awesome, Anjaiah Garu. I know definitely that will happen. Coming to the political, right? So if you see the other countries, they have their voice. And if you see 3 years back or 5 years back, we don't have much involvement in political system, right? And especially coming to Telugu, I would say they are number 2 in the entire India. If you see the participants of Telugu from the Telugu states would be more than any other languages or any other regions. So what are your steps in future to have a voice for our kids who are born and raised there? Do you have any plan or strategy to be engaged in the political system and participate in the contest for the
Yeah,
different?
definitely, Praveen. There are some activities that happened before on Tana front, for example, debate competition, and the topics are outlining, especially focusing on next generation kids being involved in politics. Actually, if you have the topic on ground and then make sure that is your debate topic, all the kids have participated. They through their ideas, how they see. So that's the there are a couple of programs which I remember top of my head that we have done in the past, but in future, definitely to improve and our engagement in the overall mainstream politics, especially next generation kids. I don't think we do participate, but at the same time, I think the real opportunities for the next generation. So getting next generation kids connected to the overall politics. So it could be debates, seminars, or designing new programs to enlighten them, to encourage them to get into next generation. These are the things we would think definitely in future to see how we can get both connected and also encourage any Telugu person who wants to participate in the next elections. We are doing so, because of 501(c), we have some limitations, but in general, where our organization or where we can really do keeping our 501(c), encouraging them in general. I'm not saying any political party, we are not supposed to, but at the same time, encouraging only our Telugu diaspora. So we would see what can be done, what are do's, what are don'ts, and we'll encourage them within our scope and limit.
So coming to the questions from the citizens or the NRIs who are living there. So how Tana helps? They should be a member of Tana to avail the facilities of all the Tana events, or anyone can be part of that. What is your message?
The message is that, at this point, when we get a call that somebody needs help, we don't even see whether he has a membership. We don't even see whether he's a Telugu person. We don't even see anything. We get a call, we help them, period. So you don't have to really be a Tana member to avail the benefits, but we help everybody. Okay, that's the bottom line. But at the same time, we would encourage to be a member. The reason for that being, every newsletter that we try to share what are all upcoming events. So unless you are a member of Tana, you don't get the regular updates. You don't know what's going on, right? So being connected with the leadership on a continuous basis is very, very important. We have a monthly digital magazine where we, send to all the members through an email. We used to have a print copy as well. So what happens is, if you are connected, then you know what are all the good things happening. What is happening? There are, believe me, only 5% of our population really know what's going on in the community. Many, we don't blame them. Many are very busy in their day-to-day lives with their professions, could be with children, education. So, but I strongly request people to become Tana members to avail not only the facilities. As I said, facilities has nothing to do with, if you have a huge cultural biennial event, you don't really see if he's a Tana member or not. Wherever is a talent, we will try to encourage. But if you are a member, that is the best way to be connected with Tana and being involved more.
Yes, you are rightly said, because people do not know what the activities are done by Tana. As you rightly said, 5% of the population, which is very, very low. And it is shameful that, Tana has done a lot of things and we are not able to avail. That is the small effort from this program, Anjaiah Garu. I'm bringing them on board and, bringing them all the questions and awareness to them so that they can benefit out of it. And what kind of activities so far, if I were to ask you, what is the heart-touching event you have done recently which has benefited the community?
See, I mean, I don't want to, really mention one event. As I said, Team Square really connects to every heart, I would say. Okay. So even though we do a lot of charitable activities, but I could, mention Team Square as our, milestone, you could be our biggest feather in the cap. That's how I see it, because, anybody needs help, they just think of Tana. So, and Team Square is a continuously we work. It's not just me or some people. It's the entire Tana leadership, entire Tana volunteers who are part and who gets a credit for this Team Square, could be activity or help, because geographically we have a lot of events or catastrophes that happen on a day-to-day basis. So we do it round the clock. So I want to name that as Team Square, but I don't want to name as just recently, because that's a continuous process basically. So if you ask me to name one, I think that received a tremendous response. And of course, our responsibility grew leaps and bounds as well to, to serve the increasing Telugu people. The count has been increasing and there's a lot of, so we try a lot to educate them as well. It's not only helping when needed, but also we do our best to make sure the catastrophics doesn't happen. So we have compiled the list of, the things that they have to make sure, take care, so that they don't get into any trouble basically. Tana.org, we do have that guide actually, safety guidelines.
Excellent, Anjaiah Garu. We are almost reaching the end of the hour, but again, I wanted to make few more points which will be very benefited to all the NRIs. If any NRI wants to avail your Team Square service, or they wanted to become a volunteer to help you, what should they do?
Yeah, first of all, Team Square, if you go to Tana website, Team Square has a separate tab. There's a 1-800-1855 number, that's a single number. Previously, they used to, call me or whoever is helping on Team Square front. But to make sure to streamline things, we have that 1-855 number. That's one thing. And what is the other part of the question?
Volunteer.
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely, info at tana.org. That is the general email. You can specifically send an email saying we want to volunteer, but be specific in what areas you want to volunteer. We get a lot of requests that they want to be part of Team Square. Then whoever is Team Square chair would take care of, and we have a volunteer list. We add them to that particular list. So they have to give their best phone number that can be reached, their home address, so that any incident that happens or help that we need in that particular area, we just refer to the volunteer list if it is Team Square. But if it's general, if you want to help in or volunteer in cultural, or as I said, Tana mission statement aligning the programs. So if you can be specific, so we'll definitely take that into account and try to incorporate your interest into the programs and just match both and make sure your interests are taken care or the opportunities availed.
Excellent. That's a great opportunity for all of us. And I know when I was starting the flyers of this particular event, already I got two calls about this, and that's a good achievement, because when people are observing this and they are getting to know. So I will definitely talk about the calls, what I got and how the help can be done. It's a generic question if someone from India wants to achieve in there. As you said in your earlier conversation, that if anyone wants to do any project, you can come up with those projects and we will try to help from Tana. So how do we get to you? If anyone wants help in any of the areas you serve, how do they need to get in touch with you?
Yeah, as I mentioned, for example, if a project that has to be executed in India, right, it goes into the arm of Tana Foundation. Okay, so there is a foundation. Let me elaborate a little bit. There is a foundation structure. There is a foundation chairman, there is a secretary, treasurer, and there are foundation trustees. You have a foundation, I won't say board, but foundation separate structure is there. Okay, so any projects that has to be, or any help that has to go through Tana Foundation. Okay, so there is also a foundation. If you see on the tana.org, I would ask them to go to website. Tana Foundation focus projects should be contacted to the foundation people. Okay, and if it is Team Square, any catastrophes, if you go to tana.org, you have the Team Square tab where you have that 1-855 number and you should reach out to them. And any general inquiries should go to info@tana.org. And of course, I know President at Tana.org is there, mine is EVP, but at the same time, if it is info@tana.org, it goes to multiple key people.
So Anjaiah Garu, last question. I know that you are very busy. In spite, you attend the calls, you be with Tana, with the community. What is the inspirational statement if I were to ask to join Tana?
Very simple. See, I would answer that in twofold, I guess. Okay. So on my personal front, I have only one agenda. Just to service is my passion. That's number one. I don't have any political aspirations. Let me be straight. So I believe there are multiple core guiding principles for me, okay, in life, and of course in my Tana journey as well. So helping hands are greater than praying lips. That particular sentence drives me throughout my life, and I've said that in multiple, uh, you know, multiple stages where I mentioned that this would be my current guiding principle as well as throughout my life, as long as I'm alive and until I die. So that is my passion. And then next question, why community should join Thana? As I said, we are doing a great job in trying to help people and getting our mission statement, accomplished. But at the same time, there is a huge lapse in Thana's front. I would agree without any hesitation that marketing and publicity side, yes, we are very busy in that, but definitely that also we observe that, okay, and we are trying to cover that lapse where we are trying to address what we have done too. But if you see all these programs, what I've mentioned, and believe me, due to the time constraint, I did mention just the highlights. Every day and every week, we have all the Tana leadership working. It's not just one person. So just see, for the people, I'm just requesting, try to become a Tana volunteer or any other organization, whoever or whatever you like. But at the same time, let us do service and charity before we leave this world. So, in other words, life is nothing but it's not just being born and dying, but what we do in between is what is called life. Let's do something before our character is done in this world, I guess. So that's my humble request to all the NRIs or any Telugu people or any Indians in general or any people who's watching this show.
Very nicely said. As a leader, I also know that you have already done so many activities in your hometown, Anjaiah Garu. As an inspiration, I know that you have done in Pedda Avatalapalli, that is your hometown. Why don't you say to the audience, because this is an inspiration to everyone who sees. By seeing your activities, they might think that at least 1% may think I also should do to that. So why don't you tell us what you have done? Some of them.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't think I've done enough just to my native because my list is never ending. But yes, there are a couple of Chaitanya Sravanti events or big events that we normally do around month long. So I think in 2014 I've organized a huge Tana Services Day at my native, and that is if you see the activities, there was a cancer camp, there was a medical screening camp, and also in addition to these, there are a lot of orphanages that I've helped on the clothes, food, and also there are what do you say, autism kids. I did help in that particular camp. So artificial limbs and hands have been donated to the people for Krishna district, identifying them who are needy and then getting those limbs. I've done that, and also we have planted trees. In addition to these, we have distributed, as I said, benches and books for the schools in my place. So I've done a lot, but at the same time, this is an ongoing thing, and there are many lists which I couldn't do, and of course, because busy with other things, and also in the next Chaitanya Sravanti, we have conducted a similar program in Achutapuram and Visakhapatnam. Myself and a couple of my acquaintances have done that. So every Chaitanya Sravanti, I'll try to do one program dedicatedly. In other words, not that we are not doing. So there are many which we have done with my friends also in Tana, especially in the COVID times. We have done not just in my place, other place also. I did whatever I can, but at the same time, I'm just an individual. At the same time, I would request everybody, once they join their hands, we could make it big.
Great, Anjaiah Garu. I think definitely you'll have a lot of blessings from all the work what you do. And as a closing statement, we know that most of the NRIs, the deaths happen, and because of lack of insurance. I know that you do a lot of awareness programs on the taxes, insurance, and and we see a lot of GoFund activities. So keeping all in the view, what is your message to all of them who live in the US or any other?
Definitely, the first fundamental, I would say first to last, whatever it is, the first top priority is have life insurance that is mandatory in this country. Okay, number one, because catastrophes happen. Sometimes it happens to some people, sometimes it can happen to me or you, anybody, right? So we don't foresee a catastrophe, but it could happen anytime. But let us make sure we protect or you protect your family in your absence. So the only way I would see is make sure you have insurance, life insurance. That's the first thing I would say. Second thing, health insurance. That is very, very important. I know people are in between projects, but don't forget that, we don't know when we need that, or when we need to avail that insurance. So make sure you have, however you are, if you want to live peacefully in this country, make sure you have health insurance, and not just for your family, but especially for the visiting parents. I want to reiterate once again, make sure your parents are covered. They have health insurance while they are here during their stay, because very, very important. We have multiple calls, hundreds of calls. Something happens to the visiting parents at that point of time, they don't have health insurance. So at least if you have some basic insurance, it's easy to get them treated. It's not that if you don't have insurance, things may not stop, but definitely I would encourage. I've seen the pitfalls of not having the visiting parents. So please make sure when they're here, let us make sure we do it 100% without any exceptions. Every visiting parent should have health insurance. So those are the things I could at least say.
Thank you so much for your time, and all the NRI friends and aspiring to be an NRI. This is the conversation with Anjaiah Garu, and these are the good inputs what Tana does, and how you can avail these services, how you can be part and serve others in the catastrophic or any other events which happen in any of the country you are living. So as Anjaiah Garu said, please have your insurance and your health insurance. Your parents, when they are coming, ensure that the insurance is there, and anything you can reach out to us and Anjaiah Garu. And Anjaiah Garu, thank you so much for being with us and enlightening about Tana to everyone. This is very, very useful, and we all are there from Mana TV as well, and TV5. We will be promoting you, and we will be doing all the necessary the social media, whatever the information you want to pass on. We are always there. Thank you so much again. Have a wonderful day ahead, and again, happy Independence Day to one and all. Thank you.
Thank you, Praveen, and all the viewers of Mana TV and TV5. My warm regards, Anjaiah Chowdary Garu. Thank you.